Okay, so moving on with cell membranes, we're going to look at simple diffusion. This is a topic that you will have covered at high school. Some of this will sound quite familiar, but there are a few key differences at A level. So what we've got a simplified structure here of a membrane. We've already looked at the fluid mosaic model of a membrane, and we know the components that make it up. In the centre of the diagram there, what I've got are some of the phospholipids from that membrane, and the ovals are meant to represent some of the channel or the carrier proteins that are found within the membrane. A simple diffusion, you may have learned at high school, is the movement of molecules from a high to a low concentration. That is kind of true, but not totally true. Molecules will move from where there is the most to where there is less. So at A level, what we say, from the higher concentration to a lower concentration. Because if you think about it, if I had a very, very high concentration of molecules, they would move to somewhere where it was just high. So it would be from a very, very high concentration to a high concentration, and that would still be diffusion. So, like I say, what we do at A level, we use the terms higher and lower. The types of molecules that will move are small, non-polar molecules. Gases are very common. So things like oxygen and carbon dioxide can diffuse straight through the phospholipid bilayer from a higher concentration to a lower concentration. But again, there's a little bit more to it. If you think some of the molecules, as they're passing through the membrane, they may hit something and they may actually go in the wrong direction. They may bounce backwards. Only a very small number of them will do this. So they are moving from a higher to a lower concentration, absolutely. But what we say is the net movement is from a higher to a lower concentration. Net movement is a term used to describe the overall result of something. So overall result is they do move from a higher to a lower, even though one or two are going in the wrong direction. And it's always small non-polar molecules that will diffuse simply straight through the bilayer. So here is a kind of model definition. Simple diffusion is the net movement of non-polar molecules, such as oxygen, from a higher concentration to a lower concentration. Now, there are a few things that can change the speed at which this works. So some of the factors that affect the speed of diffusion are things like the surface area. How big that membrane is will allow more molecules to pass through it. How thick the membrane is. Now, it's always really quite small. We're talking maybe 7 or 8 nanometers in diameter. So that will have an effect. And the concentration difference, how steep the gradient is. Is it high on one side, mediumish on the other? It will diffuse, but that will not be as fast as if it was very, very high on one side and very, very low on the other. The concentration difference, or the concentration gradient, would be steeper, and therefore it would go faster. So take your time working through the video. Hope it's been some use. Look at the kind of key terms that we use in, and make sure you include them in your answers when you are practicing. Okay, hope it was some use. Take care.